Hi, PerspectaWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, March 13th. A major storm system will impact the middle part of the country today. It will have everything from blizzard conditions on its northwest cold side to strong winds on its south and southeast side, along with the threat of severe weather. These strong winds can impact a wide area today with hurricane force winds and perhaps up to 80 or 85 miles per hour or so in some areas. This is the latest weather warnings map from NOAA, and almost everything you could imagine on this particular map, all as a result of this unfolding major storm system in the middle part of the nation. First of all, in this area right here, these are all high wind warnings, and again, winds can gust up to 75, 85 miles per hour or so as this low pressure area intensifies rapidly. And this low pressure system could end up reaching record-breaking low values over the next 12 to 24 hours or so in the middle part of the nation. On the northwest side, these are all blizzard warnings, and snow easily up to a foot in some areas from Colorado Rockies all the way across eastern Wyoming, Nebraska, and into the Dakotas and the upper part of Minnesota. Blizzard warnings to the north and west of the low, extreme winds, and perhaps the potential for severe weather. Severe weather really will extend, the threat of severe weather will really extend all the way into the lower part of the Mississippi Valley over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. We also have some flood watches in some areas, so everything you can imagine out in the middle part of the nation with this unfolding monster storm system. Well, here's the latest surface map, and first of all, in the eastern U.S., everybody's wondering what the heck is all the activity going on out in the middle part of the country, because there's absolutely quiet conditions here along the eastern seaboard. Here's where all the action is developing. There's low pressure right now over Colorado, but it will intensify very rapidly to intense levels over the next 12 to 18 hours or so. And again, the track of that storm will eventually be in this fashion like this, and everybody on the northwest side in this area up in here will get significant snow. Everybody in the south and southeast will get very strong winds, and again, the threat for some severe weather, especially over the lower Mississippi Valley region. Well, let's use last night's FV3 version of the GFS, and first we'll look at the 500 millibar upper level pattern here with the vorticity maxima and the upper level energy fields. That is playing a key role. Right now, you can see we start off the day here with deep upper level low situated over the southeastern part of Wyoming, northeastern part of New Mexico. Notice the axis orientation right in here. The trough axis extends from the northwest to the southeast. That's what we call negatively tilted upper level trough axis. The normal tilting, or the positive tilting, is from the northeast to the southwest. But when it gets into this phase, that usually is associated with very strong upward motion on the eastern side of that upper level low, and indeed that will contribute to the severe weather possibility, the extreme winds, and the rapid intensification of low pressure. Let's now move forward here, and that just slides slowly to the north and east. And again, everywhere on the northwest side will be in the cold sector. Very heavy snow and strong winds from Colorado all the way up to northwestern Minnesota, across the Dakotas over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. This rides up north and east, and notice that the upper level low starts to fill in. The most intense phase of this particular storm system will actually be over the next 12 to 18 hours or so. And then by tomorrow, it'll start to undergo a weakening process as that upper level low feature, instead of being more concentric, kind of flattens out as it moves to the north and east, stretches out. And that still will have enough energy, though, to push a strong cold front into the eastern U.S. That cold front will produce some rain activity late Thursday night through the day on Friday, maybe even a couple of thunderstorms in the eastern U.S., and then a colder, drier upcoming weekend. Let's keep moving forward here. Another thing I want to point out here is over the weekend, here we are now, this is a Saturday afternoon forecast map. Relatively dry conditions expected in the eastern U.S. this weekend, but colder. But then let's move forward here. A couple of interesting items I want to point out. First of all, there's one wave of energy by the early part of next week we'll have to watch. This could have a kind of a sneaky low pressure system with it that could produce some snow or rain, let's say in the Monday time frame. And then we go more towards the middle part of the week and watch this area of energy here over the middle part of the nation. That really drops to the south and east and eventually develops into a pretty vigorous looking upper level low by the middle part of next week. We're talking the Wednesday, Thursday time frame. This is the potential here that we'll have to watch for, perhaps a coastal low forming. Again, this is by the middle part of next week. It'll be borderline temperature-wise, but there will be some cold air around, so we definitely have to monitor that threat for the middle part of next week. Well, now let's take a look at the surface forecast maps from the 6Z FE3 GFS model run. First of all, here's that low pressure area early this morning, showing up as a 976 millibar low across the eastern areas of Colorado. Watch what happens here. Rapidly intensifies down to a 971 millibar low by early this afternoon. Just look at that tight pressure gradient across the panhandle of Texas, eastern New Mexico, Oklahoma, and this is where we could have wind gusts 75, perhaps even up to 85 miles per hour or so on the south and southeast side of this intense low pressure system. Meanwhile, in the cold sector, north and west, significant snow from the Colorado Rockies across Wyoming, upstate Nebraska, northwestern Nebraska, western half of South Dakota really gets pummeled, as does much of North Dakota and eventually northwestern Minnesota here. On the eastern side, this could develop right here into a squall line, potential severe weather associated with this probable squall line here by late today, early tonight. And we're talking here in the lower Mississippi Valley. Meanwhile, look at this pressure gradient here continuing into the evening hours. Again, extreme wind gusts associated with this monster storm system, a 972 millibar low. Now from this point on, it'll slowly begin to weaken as that upper level low, instead of being a concentric type of low, will start to kind of flatten out and shear out as we move forward here, but still causes significant snow across the northern plains into the early morning hours on Thursday. Now notice a 980 millibar. It had bottomed out on this particular model run about 971, starting to weaken here, but still a very strong storm system. And here's a line of showers associated with an advancing cold front that impacts the mid-Atlantic region late Thursday night and during the day on Friday. Here we go by Friday morning. Cold frontal system here tends to slow down a little bit as it approaches the eastern seaboard. That might extend the rainfall through much of the day on Friday, perhaps even into Friday evening in the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor. And again, there can be a couple of thunderstorms associated with this. It'll turn much milder in the east on Thursday and Friday ahead of this cold front, well into the 60s in some areas on Friday ahead of that cold front. Again, kind of tends to slow down as it approaches the coastline here by Friday night. Still the threat of rain in the I-95 corridor region. Finally kicks on out of here by Saturday morning. We get a northwest flow of air. Turns colder, drier. It looks like some sunshine on both weekend days. Then we talked about that upper level feature that could spin off a little bit of a low pressure system for the early part of next week. This doesn't look like much, but it's something we'll have to watch for the Monday time frame. Rain, snow possibility. Again, a relatively weak system. Then that more vigorous upper level feature looks like it'll slide into the Ohio Valley and then turn into a pretty deep upper level low. And that's when we'll have to watch the potential of a strong coastal storm here. We're talking the middle part of next week, Wednesday, Thursday time frame. With all that upper level energy, something could form along the eastern seaboard Wednesday or Thursday of next week, and we'll have to monitor that, of course, over the next several days. But for the next several hours, the big news will be this monster storm system over the middle part of the nation. In some areas, it may reach record-breaking low-pressure values later today, early tonight. Everything from blizzard conditions to its north and west, to extreme wind to its south and southeast, perhaps even some severe weather. That's it for now. For PerspectaWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Orion.